Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Namita. If you are new here, on this channel we talk about work life, master's life and everything else in between. Today's video I'm talking about the questions that I've gotten most ever since I uploaded my first video on what is MIS. If you haven't watched that video yet, I suggest you watch it. I'm going to link it in the description box below and let's get started. Question number 1. It goes like this. My background is so and so, and the so and so has got nothing to do with information science directly. It could be finance, it could be banking, it can be anything else. So there is no direct correlation between information science and computer science with this background. Can I do MIS? This is a question that I've got multiple times, and my answer to this question is it is not a direct yes or no. You guys need to understand one thing about MIS. It is an umbrella course, I agree. It lets you do a lot of things once you get a degree in MIS. You could move to data analytics, you could move to business analytics, there's so many things. But it does not mean that if you do not have the foundations of IT, it's not going to be easy for you. It does not mean that without a foundation you can still go ahead with this. This is why universities have prerequisites, and the prerequisites, the requirement of it depends on the university, on what they're offering you. And also guys, I just got Invisalign on my teeth. I'm pretty sure you cannot see it, I hope not. It's like clear aligners, so my speech is a little bit compromised, so bear with me if I have a little bit of lisp or I'm having trouble pronouncing certain things. I'm still getting used to this. Off topic, yeah, I'm back on topic. Well, so MIS doesn't mean that it's accepting of most prerequisites. It's accepting of you can study something that's not direct correlation to IT and you can still take up MIS, but it is really important that you have an idea of the foundational courses, the background courses. This is where prerequisites come into picture. This is why many universities ask that you get a WES evaluation. When you get a WES evaluation, look it up. WES will tell the university whether the prerequisites you have had are going to help you learn MIS and be able to grasp all the subjects. Also, if you are looking for a master's in MIS, you need to understand that the courses are not going to be introductory, they are going to be advanced. So it's going to be advanced system design, it's going to be advanced databases. So what happens is, if you do not have the basic idea of subjects, you might have trouble trying to learn the basics, learn the intermediate, and then try to get on with advanced. So if you were to ask me, if your course is not 100% IT or CS, or you do not really have a proper idea about IT, computer science or MIS related subjects, I suggest you really think about why is it that you want to do MIS. One way to do it is this way. Let's say you're interested in Texas A&M MIS, right? You go to the website and you look at the courses. If you can relate to at least say 6 out of 10 on an average number of courses, you can expect the prerequisites to be the other 4 maybe, and you might be able to get into MIS with that information. But if you are alien to almost all subjects on that list, first of all, even if you take up all the prerequisites the university will offer to you, you might have a really tough time trying to learn, because you're trying to do a complete vertical switch where you don't really have much idea about what you're doing, and that is not going to make it easy for you to learn, because as it is, grad school is hard. Grad school requires that you put in a ton of effort. So if you're asking me if your background is not 100% related to information science, or if there is like very less overlap, I truly suggest you take a hard look at why is it that you want MIS after all. Because if you think MIS is a gateway to anything to do with a huge overlap of business and IT to such an extent that the IT part of it can be ignored, I'll tell you that's not how it works. You are expected to be technically sort of proficient. I hope that answers that question. Question number 2. This question goes like this. I'm interested in business/management as a part of my career. I want to focus on that as my career. Is MIS right for me? And my answer is no. If you are looking to be entirely on the management aspects of things, if you're interested in administration, then no, MIS is not a shortcut to get into the business aspect of things. If you were to ask me, it's a whole different world, because MIS is managing information systems. You're looking at technical aspects of everything. In fact, even managers who have an MIS degree are probably managing IT. They're probably managing projects that have got to do with technology. So I will say, if you're focused entirely on business and you have no interest on information technology, it doesn't interest you, you don't really care for it, then I suggest you find a course that lets you do that, instead of getting into MIS, where you will have to be interested in technology. You will have to be interested in learning and understanding aspects of technology. I hope that answers that question for you guys. Question number 3, scholarships. I've gotten this question a couple of times where I've been asked, is MIS the right course for me if the college is offering me scholarships? I will say no course is right for you if your judgment is to go to a university just because it's offering you a scholarship. Let me put it this way. If I had a choice between a university that's really good, high ranking, and it's not really offering me any scholarship or any financial aid, and there's another university which is like, I don't know, not as well rated as the other university, but they're willing to fund me for both years of my masters and they're willing to give me a scholarship, I will still go with the better ranking university. You have to understand it's an investment. MIS is something, a master's degree is something that's going to change your career trajectory. Getting financial aid, sure, it sounds like a great idea. It's very helpful. It's a wonderful short-term financial help. But you also need to understand, a master's degree, the university is going to make a much bigger impact in your career than a scholarship will. So if you're asking me if scholarship is a huge factor in selecting a university at all, I will say no. I will say you can give it its due weightage when you have considered everything else. For example, if you're comparing two very similar universities and you have almost every other checkbox ticked and you are just having to make the final decision and you have no idea how to go about it, then if one of them is offering you a scholarship, I will say consider it. But to me, scholarship has never been on the top of my list, simply because once the 2 years are over, the scholarship is over, but I'm still left with the degree and my alumni network. I hope that makes sense. Question number 4, certifications. I've been asked whether doing certain certifications will add weightage. Will it help you understand MIS better if you do decide to continue with the course? I will say yes. Certifications are more about self-learning. They are more about how you want to proceed, how you want to supplement your understanding of subjects, how you want to sort of bolster your career. They do make a good impact in the sense that you will be more confident about any topic. I mean, I personally have not really seen certifications having a huge sole impact on an admission decision or like a job decision, but yes, having a certification will definitely make you look more well prepared and also shows that you are interested in doing things, whether you're getting a paid certification or you're doing ones from a MOOC resource, you should still be good. So certifications are a yes from me. Next question. This is usually about should I do my MIS in the United States or another country? Frankly guys, I got my degree in United States. My knowledge about how any degree is, not even MIS, is in other countries, honestly just depends on what my friends who have studied there tell me. Even if I speak to 10 people, and that's really not my opinion, and I don't want to be giving you somebody else's opinion as mine. So I have no idea how the master's programs are in Australia or Canada or the UK, because I'm here and I studied here in United States. So that question for me, I am not sure I can add much value to that. So if you have questions about MIS, that's where I can answer and give you my true opinion. Next question. This question has not been asked too many times, but the one time I got it, it really made me think. So this question goes like this: if you are in data analytics now, if you are a data scientist now, why didn't you take up masters in a data stream? Why did you do MIS? Now, if you have read my answers on Quora, then you might have already read this answer as well. I did talk about what was one aspect of my career I wish I had figured out sooner, and that is this. When I was in India, I worked with Akamai for 2 years. I was into network operations. When I decided to do MIS, it was for me the next natural step because I already have a bachelor's degree in information technology. I went to NMIT Bangalore. So for me, what happened was I knew what I did not want. I just did not really know what I really wanted. Now, it sounds like a very fun problem to have, but it's not, trust me, because by process of elimination, I've been able to arrive at a point where, okay, I don't want this and I don't want that, but I still never knew what I really wanted. And master's degree, you guys, is a huge bet. It's a big change in life. It's honestly a huge risk as well, because I already had a very well-paying job. I had a wonderful cushioned life, and I was willing to throw all that away, come to the United States and start from scratch. So I wanted to make sure that I was betting on something that I was sure about. Like, I don't even know if that sentence really made any sense, because when I was going to start something new, I knew there would be so many unknown variables, and I wanted to be sure of some things that I could still control. For example, the subject I was studying. When it came to MIS, when I looked at the coursework of different universities, the subjects were very familiar to me. I knew that I would never struggle with the academic aspect of things. I knew that I never had to worry about my GPA. And also because I did a ton of research, I spoke to so many people, and also I spoke to the one source that I could 100% trust. You could even watch my video on why I chose Texas A&M. I'm going to link that as well. And for me, MIS was the right choice because when I started, data analytics was not something I was hell-bent on being on. In fact, the first year of my master's was spent for me trying to find what I wanted. I just knew that I was not a big fan of software development, but that's about it. I never really explored what I liked because I didn't know the options I had. So MIS gave me an option to figure out what I wanted. Was it cybersecurity? Was it business analytics? Was it data analytics? Was it moving towards project management, product development? There's so many things. So that is why I did not take up data analytics, because I was interested, right? I've always loved solving puzzles. I've always been the kind of person who likes figuring things out. I love doing number puzzles. These are the things you really need to learn to do because data can be frustrating. Maybe I'll do a video about how data is, how the world of data is sometime. Maybe let me think about that. But MIS for me was the way to go because I had options in things that I liked. It was not entirely new, and for me it was difficult to commit to something if I wasn't sure about what I was signing up for. I mean, it's a degree, it's going to stay with me. I'm investing lakhs of rupees, thousands of dollars into this, so I wanted to make sure that this would be something that I would like. So that's why I did not go to any data intensive course. I decided to take up something that would still give me a ton of flexibility while providing me one sense of job security and one sense of I know what I'm doing. I hope that answers the question. Last question. This has been about experience. I have always been asked, I have no experience, can I still do MIS, can I get a master's degree, or I have 10 years of experience, is it still the right time for me to take up master's degree? I will say yes. Experience for me personally never really helped. This is probably because I worked for 20 months, like not even a complete 2-year period. And here, whenever you talk about your experience, they get bucketed. There's experience between 0 to 2 years or 0 to 3 years, and then there is 3+ years, and there is 5+ years, and there's 8+, 10+, it goes like that. So it's pretty important that your experience, if you want it to matter, that's where really it's up to you. Because if you do not have experience, you have nothing to worry about, because I had many classmates who did not have work experience. They were fresh undergrads. They're all well placed now, they're doing good, and honestly I don't think they had any different hardships than people with experience had. And I've seen people who have had more than 5 to 10 years of experience, and they also went through the same sort of sort of a student life that I did. And me too, right? I had less than 2 years, and I've had so many friends where we all had experience between like a year to like 4, and we all also just had similar experience about experience. So you don't have to worry about that. So if you do have experience, if you want to leverage it, great. That helps you, that adds on to your candidature, I guess. And if you do have experience but you don't want to leverage it, you're trying to change your stream. For example, you have been a Java developer and now you want to do something else. You can, and say you've had it for like 5 years, right? You don't have to throw away 5 years of hard work. You can use it to your advantage. You can talk about, say for example, you led a project or you were manager of something. There's ways you can for sure highlight your experience in a way that it works for you. So experience, no experience, it's not going to make or break your profile, whether you're wanting to come here for a degree or whether you will be then on lookout for a job or an internship or a co-op. Experience is not the greatest factor. And also, yes, I understand universities on their websites do mention that they have certain requirement when it comes to work experience. I will also say that they're not really hard and fast rules where they're going to throw your candidature away if you don't reach those pointers, because it's a very holistic approach here. They're going to look at your GRE, your TOEFL, your resume, your statement of purpose, your recommendations, and so many other things. So don't worry about experience being a very huge factor, especially undergrads. You guys have so many projects in your kitty you can talk about. If you feel like a lack of experience might make you less desirable or anything of that sort, you don't have to worry, truly. In fact, for my internship interviews, I literally spoke about the part-time job I had in my college, because I was doing something a business analyst would do or a data analyst would do as a student assistant, as a grad assistant. So you're sorted, you don't have to worry about that. Alright guys, that's all for today. Please let me know in the comments below if you have more questions that I haven't answered here. Also, I had to make this video simply because I have anywhere between 10 to 12 new messages in my inbox on my Instagram every day. I understand you guys have questions. The reason I do the videos is simply because I cannot respond to all the questions just because I have a working full-time job. I'm still working from home. I'm working all day all long, Monday through Friday. And also, if one person has a question, there is a possibility that more people have the same question. So that's why I made a video. So I'm just not benefiting you, your questions are benefiting so many other people. So yes, keep sending me questions, leave comments, because I think comments is another way that somebody else, if they see your comment and they agree with it, they can probably throw in a like or add a follow-up comment to your comment, and then that helps me to understand what else I can help you with. That's about it. If you guys haven't subscribed yet, I suggest you subscribe so you know when I post a new video. Like this video if you liked it. Let me know what else you would like to know, and you guys have a great weekend. I will see you next time. Bye.